In a small village called Nyota, where the stars twinkled brightly and the moon shone like a silver coin, lived a boy named Juma. Juma was curious and loved to explore the beautiful fields and forests around his home. Every evening, when the sun set, fireflies would dance in the air, lighting up the night like tiny stars. One evening, while playing near the river, Juma noticed something strange. The fireflies were not just glowing, they were moving in a pattern, almost like they were trying to tell him something. Juma watched closely and felt a pull in his heart. He wanted to know what the fireflies were trying to say. That night, as Juma lay in bed, he dreamed of a beautiful girl dancing in a field filled with fireflies. She wore a flowing dress made of leaves and flowers, and her laughter sounded like music. Juma woke up feeling excited and confused. Who was this girl? Why was she dancing? The next day, Juma decided to find out more about the fireflies and the girl from his dream. He asked his grandmother, Mama Nia, who was known for her wisdom. She smiled gently and said, "The fireflies are magical creatures. They can connect our world with the spirit world. If you see them dancing, it means they have a message for you." Juma's heart raced with excitement. He wanted to learn more about this magic. That evening, he went to the same spot by the river, hoping to see the fireflies again. As darkness fell, they appeared, glowing brighter than ever. Juma closed his eyes and whispered, "Show me your secret." Suddenly, the fireflies swirled around him, lifting him off the ground. He felt weightless as they carried him through the air. When he opened his eyes, he found himself in a magical place filled with colorful flowers and sparkling lights. In the center of this beautiful land stood the girl from his dreams. "Welcome, Juma," she said with a bright smile. "I am Zari, the guardian of the fireflies. You have been chosen to learn our dance." Juma was amazed. "What dance?" he asked. "The dance of the fireflies," Zari explained. "It is a powerful dance that can bring joy or sadness to our world. But it is also dangerous. If you do not learn it well, it could bring trouble." Juma nodded, feeling both excited and scared. He wanted to learn but worried about what could happen if he failed. Zari took his hand and led him to a circle of glowing fireflies. "Follow my movements," she said. Zari began to dance gracefully, twirling and leaping as the fireflies danced around her. Juma tried to copy her steps but stumbled. The fireflies flickered nervously. "Don't worry," Zari encouraged him. "Just feel the rhythm in your heart." Juma took a deep breath and closed his eyes again. He imagined the music of nature, the rustling leaves, the flowing river, and the gentle breeze. Slowly, he began to move, matching Zari's steps. As he danced, something magical happened. The fireflies glowed brighter, and Juma felt a warm light fill his heart. He was dancing. But suddenly, he heard a loud crash nearby. "What was that?" Juma asked, startled. Zari's smile faded. "We must hurry. The balance between our worlds is at risk." They raced toward the sound and found a dark figure in the distance, a shadowy creature trying to capture the fireflies. It had long arms and sharp claws, making Juma's heart race with fear. "Stay back!" Zari shouted, but the creature lunged at them. Juma remembered the dance and knew he had to protect Zari and the fireflies. He took a deep breath and began to dance again, this time with all his strength and courage. The fireflies surrounded him, glowing fiercely as he moved. The creature paused, confused by the bright lights and Juma's powerful dance. "Keep dancing," Zari urged him. Juma danced harder than ever before, feeling the rhythm flow through him. The creature shrieked in anger as the fireflies began to swirl around it like a storm. With one final leap and spin, Juma directed all his energy toward the creature. The fireflies exploded into a dazzling light, blinding it for a moment. When the light faded, the creature was gone. Juma collapsed on the ground, panting but relieved. "You did it!" Zari cheered. "You saved us." Juma smiled proudly but knew their adventure was not over yet. The dance had awakened something powerful within him, and he could feel that more challenges awaited them. As they walked back toward the glowing fields of fireflies, Juma realized that he had only begun to discover his true potential. With Zai by his side and the magic of the fireflies in his heart, he felt ready for whatever came next. The next day, Juma returned to his village with newfound confidence. He shared stories about his adventure with Zai and how he had danced with fireflies to protect their world. But as night fell once more, Juma noticed something strange in Nyota. Fewer fireflies danced in the air. Worry crept into his heart as he remembered Zai's warning about balance. He rushed back to the riverbank where he had first met Zai. "Fireflies," he called out into the night sky. "Where are you?" Suddenly, a few flickering lights appeared before him. They danced slowly at first but then began to swirl around him again. "Juma." Zai's voice echoed softly from within the lights. "There is more to learn. A greater danger is coming." Juma's heart raced as he realized that their adventure was far from over. He had saved them once but now needed to understand why there were fewer fireflies and what danger lay ahead. He took a deep breath and prepared himself for another journey into magic and mystery, knowing that together with Zai and the fireflies, he could face anything that came their way. The next night brought more surprises as Juma met with Zai again in their magical realm. She looked worried. "Juma," she said urgently, "the balance is tipping because someone has stolen our magic. We need your help to find it before it's too late." "Who would do such a thing?" Juma asked. Zai shook her head sadly. "A sorcerer named Kovu wants to use our magic for himself. He believes that if he captures enough fireflies and takes their light, he will become all-powerful." Juma felt fear grip him but also determination. "What can we do?" "We must find Kovu's lair before he can gather more magic," Zai explained. "But we will need allies from both our worlds." Together they set off on their mission to gather help from both humans and spirits alike. They first visited Momania in Nyota for guidance. "Momania," Juma said breathlessly as they arrived at her home. "We need your wisdom. A sorcerer is stealing firefly magic." Momania listened carefully and nodded gravely. "You are brave to seek help, Juma. The villagers must unite against Kovu's darkness." With Momania's encouragement, Juma returned to gather his friends from Nyota, Amara, Tand, and Little Osha, telling them about Kovu's evil plans. "We must protect our village and help the fireflies," Amara exclaimed. They decided to hold a meeting under the big baobab tree that night to plan their next steps against Kovu. As they gathered under the starry sky, tension filled the air as everyone shared stories of strange happenings, missing fireflies and shadows lurking at night. "I saw Kovu near the river," Tan shouted nervously. "We must be careful," Osha added quietly. "He is powerful." Juma stood up tall and addressed his friends with determination in his voice. "Together we can stop Kovu. We will learn from Zai and use our courage." The group cheered loudly, feeling united in their mission. With new strength from their friendship and support from Momania's wisdom, they planned their journey into Kovu's territory, the dark forest where no light dared shine. As dawn broke over Nyota, Juma felt both excitement and fear bubbling inside him. He knew they were embarking on an important quest that would test their bravery and friendship like never before. With Zai leading them through hidden paths in her magical realm and their friends by their side in Nyota, they set off toward Kovu's lair, ready for whatever challenges awaited them in their fight against darkness. Little did they know that Kovu was already aware of their plans. As Juma and his friends ventured deeper into the dark forest, a sense of unease settled over them. The trees loomed tall and twisted, their branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. Shadows danced ominously, and the air was thick with an unsettling silence. "Stay close," Zai whispered, her voice barely audible above the rustling leaves. Kovu is cunning and has eyes everywhere. The group pressed on, their hearts pounding in unison. Juma glanced back at Amara, Tand, and Osha, who followed closely behind, their faces a mixture of determination and fear. They had trained together, practiced their own forms of magic, and learned the dance of the Fireflies, but this was different. They were stepping into the unknown. Suddenly, a flicker of light caught Juma's eye. He turned to see a small group of fireflies hovering nearby, they glowed dimmer than usual. "Look," he pointed. "They're trying to lead us somewhere." The fireflies danced in a zigzag pattern, urging them to follow. With Zoe guiding the way, they moved cautiously, weaving through the dense underbrush until they reached a clearing. In the center stood a massive stone structure covered in vines and dark moss, Kovu's lair. "This is it," Zoe said, her voice trembling slightly. "We must be careful. Kovu is likely inside, gathering power from the stolen magic." Juma felt a surge of bravery wash over him. "We have to go in and confront him," he declared. "We can't let him take any more fireflies." The group nodded in agreement, their resolve strengthening as they approached the entrance. The air grew colder, and an eerie wind whipped through the trees, carrying whispers that seemed to echo Kovu's name. As they stepped inside, darkness enveloped them. The walls were lined with glowing crystals that pulsated with an ominous energy. At the far end of the chamber stood Kovu, cloaked in shadows, his eyes gleaming like embers. "Welcome," he sneered, his voice smooth yet chilling. "I've been expecting you." Juma's heart raced as he stepped forward. "You won't get away with this. We're here to stop you." Kovu chuckled darkly. "You think you can stop me? I have already captured enough firefly magic to make me invincible. Your little dance won't save you now." Zoe stepped beside Juma, her presence radiating warmth despite the darkness surrounding them. "The fireflies belong to the spirit world. You cannot control them." With a flick of his wrist, Kovu summoned a swirling mass of shadows that surged toward them. "Let's see how brave you really are." In that instant, Juma felt a rush of adrenaline. He remembered the dance, the movements that had once seemed so daunting now felt like a powerful weapon against Kovu's darkness. "Everyone, dance," he shouted, taking Zoe's hand. Together, they began to move in unison, channeling their energy into the dance of the fireflies. The rhythm echoed through the chamber as fireflies joined them, swirling around in a dazzling display of light. Kovu's shadows recoiled at the brightness, but he quickly regained control and sent forth tendrils of darkness to ensnare them. "Foolish children. You think your dance can defeat me?" But Juma and his friends danced harder, their hearts beating as one with the firefly's light. Amara twirled gracefully, Tand leaped high into the air, and Osha spun in circles, each movement amplifying the magic around them. As they danced, Juma felt a connection grow stronger between them, an unbreakable bond fueled by friendship and courage. The fireflies responded to their energy, glowing brighter than ever before. Kovu's expression shifted from amusement to anger as he realized he was losing control. "No. This isn't possible." With one final leap, Juma led his friends into an intricate formation that created a blinding circle of light. The fireflies surged forward, combining their magic with Juma's dance. The shadows began to dissipate as Kovu struggled against the light. "Stop this. You will pay for your defiance," he roared. But it was too late. The combined power of their dance shattered Kovu's darkness, forcing him to retreat into the shadows at the edge of the chamber. "Get back!" Zoe shouted as she summoned a protective barrier around them. The fireflies filled the space with brilliant light, illuminating every corner of Kovu's lair. With Kovu temporarily weakened, Juma seized the opportunity. "We have to free the captured fireflies," he urged his friends. They searched the chamber and soon discovered cages filled with flickering fireflies trapped in magical restraints. Juma approached one of the cages and reached out. "Don't worry. We're here to help," he called softly. As he touched the cage, he felt a surge of energy course through him. He began to dance again, this time focusing on releasing the fireflies from their prison. With every step and twirl, he channeled his magic into breaking the enchantment. The fireflies flickered brightly as they broke free one by one, swirling around Juma and his friends in joyous celebration. "Thank you," one of the fireflies whispered as it danced close to Juma's face. "You have saved us." Suddenly, Kovu re-emerged from the shadows, furious and desperate. "You think you can escape me? I will not let you ruin my plans." Juma felt fear creeping back in but stood firm beside Zai and his friends. "Together we are stronger than you. You cannot control what belongs to the spirit world." With renewed determination, they resumed their dance, this time with all their might. The fireflies joined in harmony, creating a radiant spectacle that filled Kovu's lair with light. Kovu screamed in rage as the brilliance enveloped him. The shadows twisted and writhed but could not withstand the power of friendship and unity. "Enough," he bellowed as he was consumed by the light. "I will return." In an explosion of light and sound, Kovu vanished into thin air, leaving behind only silence and shimmering sparks that floated gently through the air. Juma collapsed to his knees, breathing heavily but filled with relief. Zoe knelt beside him, her eyes shining with gratitude. "You did it. Together we saved them." The fireflies swirled around them in celebration, filling the chamber with their soft glow. Juma looked at his friends, Amara, Tand, and Osha, and smiled widely. "We did it together," he said proudly. As they made their way back to Nyota with the liberated fireflies dancing joyfully around them, Juma realized that their adventure had changed him forever. He had faced darkness and emerged stronger because of his friends and the magic they shared. When they returned home under the stars that night, Juma knew that Nyota would never be the same again. With every flicker of light from the fireflies above him, he felt hope for a brighter future, a future filled with friendship, courage, and endless adventures waiting just beyond the horizon. And so it was that Juma became known as the boy who danced with fireflies, a guardian not only of his village but also of the magical connection between their worlds. As for Zoe and the fireflies, they continued to watch over Nyota from their realm, ready for whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing that together with Juma and his friends, they could face anything that came their way. And every night when Juma looked up at the stars twinkling in the sky or saw fireflies dancing in the fields, he remembered that magic was real, and it thrived in unity and love.